because I don't see just how can they continue playing this guy who absolutely sucks. Look at the last couple of games. Like since January 21st, he's averaging not even 10 points a game and he's playing 25 minutes a game. Horrible. He had that kind of huge game against the Wizards. If you exclude that game against the Wizards and look at the last 13 games, he's averaging 8 points a game. And that's not even the worst part. He's horrible on defense. So if they decide to go away from Ayton, which they should, the guy that's profiting here is... Hello guys and welcome back to a new video. My name is Pips, co-founder of PropsMadness and professional sports bettor. Today a bit shorter video, as you can see, different background. I'm at my parents' home visiting over the weekend, so tomorrow as well. Visiting for some FNC event. That's like Croatian MMA organization, like Croatian UFC. So yeah, we're going there with my brother and father. Difficult to get 20 to 30 minutes of quiet time when you're close to family. So we are just going to dive into it straight away, do the work, and so you guys know what to look for in these games. First game on the board, Blazers against the Hornets. This one is interesting one, I would say. We can see that Blazers are 7.5 underdogs, and key thing for this game is obviously Donovan Klingon being questionable for this one, while we can see that Sharp is out and Danny Avdia is doubtful. So probably no Danny Avdia and no Sharp. And with Klingon being out, that could be rough. Even though last game they only lost by 3 against the Wolves, but it could be a rough game. So yeah, on that side, if Klingon is out, their defense will be horrible. So mostly anyone on the side of the Hornets is good, but it's difficult to choose which player to pick from the big three: Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and Count Knupel, especially since now they almost have similar lines, like 19.5 for LaMelo, 19.5 for Con, and 22.5 for Miller, and they have Bridges and Kobe White as well, so yeah. But looking at the last couple of games, when it wasn't a huge blowout, and last couple of games they were all blowouts, so when Miller gets 26 plus minutes, maybe even 25 plus minutes on the season. I would say not on the season, like last 20 games, he's averaging 23.4. Now gets a good matchup, but I don't think I'm touching this game because Klingon in or out is key for this game, and I think most of these lines are pretty sharp for the Hornets as well. So there is that. Moving on to the Rockets against the Heat. Another key thing is no Norman Powell for the Miami Heat, and there is no Jabari Smith for the Houston Rockets, for my Houston Rockets. Steven Adams is out for the season, so they are now missing key rotational players. So Jabari Smith was playing like 40 minutes every single night, and now without them, they are missing shooting, and they are missing a guy that was like kind of playing like 3, 4, 5 big minutes, like a guy that you can put everywhere and he'll just perform. Especially as of late, he was performing really well. So for this one, I'm going to Ayton Thompson over 15.5 points, wildly available minus 115 to up minus 125, wildly available. First official pick on the show, just because I'll just dive in, but it looks really good. Last game he got benched. He didn't have it. He had a poor game, so he got benched. But now without Jabari, he must play. Like the only thing how he doesn't play is they play Josh Okogie over him, which happened last game, but because Okogie had a great game, Ayton Thompson didn't have a great game, and they had Jabari playing 40 minutes. So in this case, I think this is a perfect matchup for Ayton Thompson. As we can see, he scores most of his points from transition, cuts, and from the paint. For 3 weaknesses of this Miami team, and they also play at the highest pace in the league, which definitely works well for a guy that's running in transition, cutting, and scoring in the paint. So I'll just show you correlation with it. He's expected to play 32 to 42 minutes, which is, I think, without Jabari, is right on the point. On the season, with those minutes, he's averaging 18 points a game. We are getting 15.5 against a matchup that's actually perfect for him. And highest pace in the leagues, plenty of more possessions. So let's analyze the bet that way. First off, let's start with the pace. and he's not playing teams who are bottom 10 in pace in the league. He's averaging still 18 points a game, doesn't change much, win rate stays same. But let's exclude now bottom 15 teams in pace, and now doesn't change much as well. Still 70 points average. Let's now do like top teams in pace. Now goes up to 19 points a game, and now he's suddenly covering in 75% of the games. If we combine that with paint defense, if we exclude teams who are above average in paint defense, and also if we exclude teams who are above average in transition defense, so when we combine all three, which are all three are true for this matchup against the Miami Heat, then he covered this line in 11 out of 12 games, averaging 20 points a game. Important to include KD in the lineup, doesn't change much, still 20 points a game average. Let's go different route. Let's try when we just look at the points in the paint allowed. When he's facing bottom 10 teams in paint points allowed, he's at 20 points average. If you do like just below average, he's still averaging like below average. We can see he's still averaging 20 points a game, covering in 17 out of 21 games. And lastly, let's just do a transition. As we can see, they are ranked 23rd in transition points allowed. So if you look, and he's playing teams who are below average in transition defense, another one with 20 points average with KD in the lineup and with those minutes. So great correlation with transition defense, great correlation with points in the paint allowed, and great correlation with pace. So everything looks great. Everything in this matchup looks great. And without Jabari, he needs to get minutes. So first official bet, Amen Thompson. On the side of the Miami Heat, I don't like to bet guys against the Rockets, because if it's like some role player, maybe Udoka decides to leave him wide open so he covers. If he's some main guy, Udoka could let him shoot, or Udoka could double him. So it depends on every game what Udoka comes up with, what defensive scheme. So it's tough to predict. Sometimes I have a great read, so we bet. But against this Heat team, I don't know. Like, I don't think he should be worried about Tyler Hero getting shots up, but he could, and then it doesn't look great. So next game on the board, Raptors against the Wizards. Guys, this should be a blowout. The spread is 14.5. I think they should blow them out. They played twice this season, won by 30 and then lost by 21. Unbelievable stuff. This game that they lost by 21, no Barrett, no Jacob, no Colin Murray Boyles. So kind of weird one. But now Big Four are playing. Ingram, Barrett, quickly, Barnes, all in. Jacob returned, and then my lean will be on Sandro because there is no CMB. He's doubtful, so probably out. Last two games, both Jacob and CMB played. So let's look at the games when the CMB is not playing, and we have Jacob in the lineup. Last two games, these games all came in October, November, but last game with one in and one out, he had 20 minutes against the Pistons. If you do it other way around, no Jacob, but with Colin Murray balls, against OKC last game 50 minutes. But before that, he was kind of 22 to 23 minutes. So for tonight, I expect him to get 18 to 24 minutes. And then on the entire season, he's averaging 12 points a game. Maybe I did it too much. Maybe it's 16 to 24. But then still 11 points average. He's at 9.5 and playing against the Wizards. So that could be a great spot. We can see catch and shoot, under 10 feet, rim, above the breaks, play types. Perfect matchup wherever we look. But I'm not sure into these minutes. And they could play Barnes at 5, so go small. So last couple of games they bench him 15 and 14 minutes. Maybe they do it again. So not I'm not sure for his minutes. I'm just guessing where it goes. So not much there. Next game, Lakers against Golden State Warriors. I like Luka Doncic in this one. Not gonna lie. Last game against the Suns, he ended up shooting so much. Like 21 field goal attempts, 12 free throws, 41 points. Looked great in the first three quarters. Looked horrible in the fourth quarter, but can do that's Luka. That's how he always does. Always scoring better in the first half than in second because he gets gassed. So when you take a look on the entire season, when he gets 31 to 42 minutes, which is expected minutes for tonight, against the Suns, he just played 39. So there is that huge minutes for Luka. Honestly, 30 and a half looks crazy because on the season with these minutes, no filter applied, he is at 34 points average and we had 30 and a half line. Okay, Reeves was out this couple of games, so on the season with overall average is 36.5% usage. With Reeves, it's 36.6. Zero changes. When we add LeBron James, it goes even up to 37. So Reeves and LeBron James in the lineup don't affect his usage. We can see that even field goal attempts are remaining the same. Usage remains the same. And with them in the lineup, even though most of these matchups are like above average, let's look at defensive ratings. Besides this matchup against the Jazz, we have Suns 11th best. Everyone's above average. Like Suns great defense, Orlando decent defense. Then we have Celtics great defense, Clippers kind of okay defense, great defense Houston, great defense Spurs, good defense 76ers. Then another great defense of the Suns, okay defense Dallas and Clippers. So mostly done this is in above average matchups on defensive end, and we have now Golden State Warriors who are over the last 15 games 17th ranked in defense, so they are average. And on the season we can see that they are ranked 21st in pull-ups allowed, and they are allowing, let's see, in the paint they are ranked 15th in points allowed in the paint. Actually, they are like 17th in under 10 feet. So matchup looks kind of okay besides pick and roll ball handler, but they allow a ton of isolation, ton of transition, and good spot up numbers. And let's look at the similar players. We had late January, Kate Cunningham scoring 29, covering his line by 5 points. Anthony Edwards scored 32 points against them. LaMelo Ball stayed under, but he only played 21 minutes, got 17 field goal attempts up. So yeah, I think this is a promising matchup. I would say average to above average for Luka. And when you look at the entire season with these minutes for Luka Doncic, he is at 34 points average. And also head to head, earlier this season he scored 43 points against Golden State Warriors. Austin Reeves played in that game. But look at the usage. These are some insane numbers. 27 field goal attempted and 10 free throws. That's insane. Looking at the entire career, like let's look at the last 3 seasons. We have a sample size of 193 games, but let's take a look only at regular season, 166. And let's now do usage. So he had 27 field goal attempts. So let's do like 21 to 27. And let's set the free throws from, I will say like 6 to 14. See, so he had 27. We are just doing 21 up to 27 as the most. And free throws he had 10. We are doing like average 6 to 14. And with that kind of usage, we can see that over the last 3 seasons, he covered this line in 77% of the games and averaging 35 points a game. So definitely think this line is too low. So second official bet on the show today, Luka Doncic over 30.5 points, widely available. And just a couple of things on this matchup. Undervalued, underrated spot could be Jackson Hayes. If you take a look, he got injured here, but if you take a look at the last game against the Suns, we had Ayton playing. Ayton fucking sucks, guys. I mean, I think Lakers should give up on that guy. Not give up entirely because they don't have anyone to play out of 5, but he's horrible. He made jokes about, let's look at this. He made jokes about, I am not Capella, blah blah. Next game, he got 2 points in 23 minutes against the Suns. 2 points and 4 rebounds. And he was minus 1,000 in a game that ended up with 1 possession, which is crazy. So I think they need to go to 24 minutes for Ayton moving forward. Up to 30 is the most, because I don't see just how can they continue playing this guy who absolutely sucks. Look at the last couple of games. Like since January 21st, he's averaging not even 10 points a game and he's playing 25 minutes a game. Horrible. had that kind of huge game against the Wizards. If you exclude that game against the Wizards and look at the last 13 games, he's averaging 8 points a game, and that's not even the worst part. He's horrible on defense. So if they decide to go away from Ayton, which they should, the guy that's profiting here is Jackson Hayes. Last game against the Suns, he got 21 minutes, even though they went a bit small with LeBron at the 5. So if he set at like up to 23, 15, up to 23, and look at the last, let's say, great form lately. So over the last 16 games, Jackson Hayes, no filters applied, 15 to 23 minutes. We can see that he covered this line in 15 out of 16 games. Absolutely amazing. This will be my official bet, but I actually think Lakers could go without both Hayes and Ayton in this matchup against the Golden State Warriors. I think they can play LeBron at the 5, or like Jake LaRavia at the 5, or Hachimura at the 5. Hachimura is doubtful, so definitely not Hachimura, but I like even Jared Vanderbilt could play at the 5 some minutes. So he could end up being at 14 to 15 minutes rotation. If he is like at 12 to 18 minutes rotation on the season, we can see that on the season he's 50-50 on this line. So he definitely needs to get 15 or more minutes. And then this is a great. So kind of not sure about the minutes, but it definitely makes sense for him to get the minute instead of that fucker Ayton. So yeah, guys, that's it. Still ended up doing a 20 minutes video. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Huge slate. I'll try to get as much bets as possible in like 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.